Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Leopard PTA or Leopard Prototype Review, as it's called. So, this is the Tier 9, a German medium tank. The other one, not the E50, obviously. And what is really important to note about this tank, that is made out of shit. Well, not shit, paper. Let's say paper. So 70 upper plate, 50 lower plate. And yeah, there's not much to talk about it. Apart from, the only thing that's worth to note here is that the armor is better than 40 at every place on the tank apart from the size, which means that the 122mm guns or the 120s cannot auto-pen this tank, which means that you actually kind of have to aim to not hit like upper plate in this angle and like any angle that is auto bounce. So auto bounces will happen apart from these zones that are less than 40. Another thing to note is the top of the turret is actually somewhat good. This fucking bar is do not shoot zone, and this bar below it is shoot me if you dare. It's kind of weird. Gun mantlet made out of shit. It's 80 or 65 and there's nothing behind it, so good luck. There's best values you can get is like 150, so nothing to talk about here at all. Let's look into the substats. So gun is a 105mm, and we're comparing it to the T-54 as always, and as you can see, all of these stats are way worse than T-54 because Russia. And mobility wise, it gets pretty good power to rate, 21.19, which is not that much more than the T-54, which is the best armored Tier 9 medium tank, and this is probably the worst. I think the Lorraine is better armored than the Leopard PTA, and the terror resistance is exactly the same, so this tank is faster than the T-54, but just by a bit, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's everything there is to say in the tank inspector. Let's get into the replay. Never mind, Lorraine is 40 all around, she's utter shit. So, yeah, the Leopard PTA, what is it good for? Is it good at anything really? Well, this tank is one of the hardest Tier 9 mediums, probably the hardest Tier 9 mediums to play. It is barely faster than your average T-54, which is super versatile and has quite reliable armor at Tier 9. This tank doesn't have the armor, it is barely faster than the T-54, it has horrible DPM, which is not as bad as the Centurion 7-1 with the 105, but it's not falling far from it. And the only good thing about this is the good alpha damage for the tier and the pretty damn decent penetration as well. But yeah, I decided to show you this game because this is Leopard out of its comfort zone as much as it gets really. Fighting close range is not a good thing, but you have to do it way often than you want to, because in World of Tanks maps are not made to favor tanks like this one. Maps are made to favor heavy tanks, maps are made to favor TDs and not paper medium tanks. That was a really bad shot. I will have quite a bit of bad shots here. And if all of those downsides was not enough for you, then the tank has absolute, well, not like it has absolute no gun depression, but it doesn't have a lot. 6 degrees of gun depression for this kind of medium tank is pretty damn bad. So let's put it out there. This is probably the worst Tier 9 medium tank. It would be like, if you ask me, I would be close call between this and the Lorraine, but I would say this is worse. Because the Lorraine has the potential DPM, Lorraine is much faster, and yeah, that's the thing. And actually Lorraine has better gun depression, who would have thought. But Leopard PTA, really low DPM, it is fast, but not much faster than the other medium tanks, and the gun is not like not making up for all the downsides of the tank, so I wouldn't say that this tank is really good. And first shot I take 207 damage from a T-54 and damaged ammo rack, which is also one thing to note. The tank is made out of paper, and behind the paper they put ammo racks. Checking the cam in frustration about missing these shots, and it happens quite a bit with this gun. As you saw, all the aiming stats on moving and turning turret are pretty bad compared to the T-54, but once you get this gun aimed, it's pretty damn accurate. So let's do the usual I can read part of the review, and I'll read out you some of the stats that matter in this tank. So 65 speed limit forwards, which is really good. 23 backwards, which is also really good. Horsepower tone 21.19, as you saw. Traverse 42 degrees, pretty damn good. Can't really circle a lot of tanks, but in case of like something really heavy, like a mouse or an E100, you might be able to try to circle around them if you are able to track them. Turret traverse 36 degrees per second. with the 400 meter view range, pretty good stats, which will also lead into having coated optics as equipment slot. 390 alpha damage, 268 penetration, so extremely high pen. 268 at tier 9 is extremely good. Damage per minute stock value is 2109, which is really bad. Comparing like to an E50's 2437, that's all stock value, so you can buff both of those. And the gun accuracy on the gun 0.32, which is also worse than on the E50, and the aiming time is 2.3, which is also worse than on the E50. Depression -6, elevation +20. And the camo value on this tank can be insane. You really need camo skill, you really need 6th sense in this tank, otherwise it's not gonna be working very well for you at all. So now I'm playing the game, let the enemy shoot somebody else and I'll shoot the enemies. That seems to be working out pretty well when you are driving tanks like this. As you saw, not only I'm trading health, I'm trading my modules. Almost for every shot this tank takes, it loses some modules, which is really crucial and really critical in a tank like this. When you lose your ammo rack, your reload suddenly becomes 20 seconds. And if you thought 2000 DPM is bad, guess when you see how bad 1000 DPM is at tier 9 in a medium tank. Crew members die all the time as well, which is also funny, worth the note. And another thing that happens a lot, you get hit by arty, and when you do that, get hit by arty, you get your tank wrecked. This tank cannot take arty shots. You saw the armor values, even though they're not horrible, they're not like Lorraine levels of horrible. Most of the tank is not more than 60 millimeters of armor, and arty has to hit you in pretty bad angles for them to not pen you, which is kind of sad. Another note is that stock this tank is fucking horrible. The stock engine on this is really bad, and when you have the stock engine with the Panther, well, with the Indian Panzer's gun on this tank, it is just mind-blowingly bad. So that is something to note. You really want to get this gun. This gun makes this tank work somewhat, and when you don't have this gun, the tank is really, really, really bad. Probably the worst stock tier. Well, not the worst stock tier 9. The Patton probably takes that fucking lead because it has to play with a T20's gun. But this is pretty damn bad in that list of bad stock tanks. And yeah, reload when you're not ammo racked on the Leopard is something I forgot to note. It's around 9-10 seconds, something like that. It's not that horrible. It's better than on the Centurion 1 for sure, or Centurion 7 1 for sure. Equipment I would use on this is rammer, vert stabs, and coated optics. View range is the game you want to play most of the time. If you can't play the view range game, then you play the support game, and that is what you're seeing in this game. Just trying to not take any damage when I don't have to, and then using my health later to trade with tanks there where I have to trade. Kind of a cheating here, putting up a review where I shoot an AFK, but then again I thought it's better to put up a review where I play out of my comfort zone on a city map with a tank that doesn't belong here at all, rather than playing with a, oh no, like Prokhorovka or Kampinovka where you just sit in one bush and spot everybody and then kill them. But whatever. Crew skill wise, important to note is that the repair skill is almost not needed in this tank at all. The stock repair speed is not bad, it's like 7 seconds, so first skill definitely 6th sense and camo, 100%. Second skill would be second skill is all the utility, so smooth right snapshot and all that shit, situational awareness, not recon but camo on the commander, and third skill maybe repairs, because as I said, repairs are not needed in this at all. Repair speed is good enough to not get perma-tracked by most tanks, so it doesn't matter. On a side note though, you get ammo rack so often that when you can avoid to spend your repair kit on something like a track, you should try to avoid it, because there's not a lot of games in this tank where you are not ammo racked at the end of it, and this surprisingly was one of them. So that was a decent game to showcase how support works in this tank. You really try to not get shot at the early stages of the game. So here's the template. 5,848 damage done, 1,227 probably tracking, not spotting, high caliber, and ace tanker. 4,722 experience with a double, and without a double was something like 200, 2,300, 1,500 base without premium. But yeah, Leopard is pretty simple. On maps where you can play view range games, you play view range games, and the maps you cannot, you play support. There's nothing really else to say there. Another thing about the Leopard PTA is a really good tank to farm Reanate in. Like, if you care about things like that, then Leopard PTA might be for you. It's a challenging tank to play. It's kind of fun. I like it. Even though I know it's bad. I know it's a bad tank. Well, yeah, it is a bad tank. But I like to play it. I feel it's challenging and nobody... The average set for this tank is so low that you can farm Reanate really easily. This, you don't really have to do anything special to have like 4k Reanate and... be done with it. But yeah, so you saw a lot of XP for doing 6k damage in that game. All it was close range, none of those, but well, 1k tracking, I guess, but still, a lot of XP for not doing that much. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Leopard PTA is not a good tank. I wouldn't recommend it to keep it, but it's challenging and kind of funky, so I like it, and I will see you on the next one.